Hey, I'm up here at Honda Dryer South. It is a beautiful Saturday morning. It's also a very busy Saturday morning, but they were kind enough to let us come in and ride a bike. I'm gonna hop on this KTM 1190 adventure bike. I haven't seen it yet. I've never been on anything like this, so I'm pretty excited about this. Let's take a look. Well, that's a lot of machine right there. I like it. I like it. Always loved the KTM brand. I've always heard good things about them, and I've never been able to get on one of these before. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing this. I hope there's some dirt roads with some good hills to climb or something. Some creeks to go through or something. You know, obviously being an adventure bike, the first thing you notice, it's a tall bike. I mean, it's sitting up nice and tall. You know, it's got it's got some pretty cool things here. I like the fairing. I like the way the fairing sits. This is something right here you can definitely, you could beat it up and it's going to be able to take a little bit of punishment. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. You know, it's you can feel a little bit of give in the shocks. It's tall. Now I am flat-footed, but I'm also over 6 foot tall and 225 pounds to give you an idea to scale the bike. So if you're taller, it's obviously going to be a little easier to ride something like this. But it's important. It's why it's called an adventure bike. This is to go wherever you need to go. You can go there on this bike, and that's why it sits so high. But you know, I mean, obviously, like I said, I'm still flat-footed on it. So now I myself, I ride a cruiser most of the time. So obviously, it sits totally different than that. You're going to be sitting up tall. Your feet are going to be right here at the midsection of the bike. I'm really interested to see how this windshield works. Wind deflector, I don't know what you would actually, the technical name for it is, but I'm curious to see how that works. It's obviously low enough where you're looking over top, you're not looking through it or anything. And again, the bike sits tall. The handlebars are kind of straight bars. It's totally different than anything I ride. I'm used to riding something with ape hangers and everything else. So this is a totally different ride. I'm psyched about it. I can't wait to get it out on the road. So now something that'll be really different and something I've never rode before, this is obviously, it's all stationary. It's a stationary fairing or whatever. Everything I have is like a bat wing or something where it turns with your handlebars. And as you can see, this one is stationary. So this will be a little different than what I've ever rode before. And I'm telling you, it's not a true adventure bike unless you have a cigarette lighter and an ashtray. Now that's an adventure. Boy, I'm on top of the world on this thing. I love the way it's balanced. Ultra smooth transmission, holy cow. Love the transmission on this thing. Throttle response is pretty good too. I know why they call it an adventure bike. It was all I could do to keep from pulling out in these muddy old cornfields. My God, that's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Well, Steve, first of all, let me say thank you for letting me take this out. I've never rode anything like this, and this is obviously something that's completely out of my field of expertise, which is really, really small field, very small field. But, you know, as a avid motorcycle rider, you know, I love all kind of bikes. This was a blast to ride. This was something that totally different than anything else I've ever rode, because even though, I mean, it's sitting up tall, obviously you're sitting up way up in the air like that. But the handlebars, I thought maybe it'd be like where I'd be leaning over so far that it would wear my arms out, you know. And I talk about, and those bikes are fun to ride for me, but I can only do that for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I'm old enough now where I got to stop for a while. This was totally different. I mean, I literally was sitting up. I mean, I really wasn't hunched over. I was kind of sitting up. I even took it out on the interstate for a minute, and I mean, obviously there's not a question of power whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could ride this. You know, I've talked about other bikes in the past where I always say, you know, it'd be a great bike to have in the Smoky Mountains, but I could never ride it to the Smoky Mountains.
Correct.
This bike, you could literally ride it to the Smoky Mountains. I mean, even if you had to get on the interstate, I'm not going to tell you how quick I was going, but you're going to stay right with traffic or a lot faster than them if you want.
Sure.
But just tell me a little bit about this bike. I mean, obviously it's an adventure bike. It's, you know, it sits up nice and tall so you can get it off the road. You have no idea how much I wanted to bring this back all muddy because of all the rain that there's been around this area. There's a lot of fields full of mud and everything else. I thought, boy, you could have some fun on there.
Yeah.
So, but if you could, just tell me a little bit about this bike.
Sure. It's the adventure category has grown a lot in the last several years in the United States. It's been big worldwide for a long time, but so it's kind of like what you're saying. It's you can ride this bike to work and back. You can take a trip on it. You can go explore on it. You can do whatever you want. It's a pretty cool motorcycle. They have a lot of power. This thing's got 150 horsepower in its unregulated mode, but it has lots of features like traction control, ABS brakes, things to make it safer. There's a rain control, so if it was like last week, it was pouring down rain, you can't spin the back tire out on this thing. You can ride it hard, and you're riding it like a MotoGP guy, you know, in the rain. Right. You know, it's pretty cool. It gives you a lot of confidence.
Wow.
They have comfort settings, so if you want to ride hard, like you go to Deals Gap, you mentioned, hey, I want to ride this thing as hard as I can go. There's settings for the power and the suspension to do that. Hey, riding to Deals Gap, I want comfort.
Right.
All right, I can have that. You can put those big boxes on them. You can do 2-up on them, and then there's settings for 1-person, 2-person, loaded, unloaded. It's all through your controls on the handlebars, so it's pretty neat. And you've got it's got things like clocks and how many miles to empty. You know, you get out, maybe you're out in Nevada or somewhere like, I don't know where the nearest gas station is, 290 miles to go till empty, you know. So, I mean, it'll tell you that stuff as you go. And if you're riding hard, it'll adjust that down. If you're on the interstate, it'll adjust it up, just like cars do today.
Yeah.
So,
the transmission. Holy cow. The smoothness of the transmission. I mean, it goes into gear so easy. And so, I mean, you know when it's in gear, but it glides. I mean, everything is just so smooth about this.
And that's what has appealed to so many people. People have come off of cruisers, off of Hondas, Harleys, other brands, and it's like, wow, it's neat, it's cool, it's fun. You know, it's so that's what we hear from people when they ride them. Initially it's like, well, what's this about? And then you get them to go out on a test drive. It's like, man, that is neat. Sort of a little bit of an off-roadish feel, you know, like you say, I want to go across the field, you know.
Yeah, I was thinking about put some knobby tires on this thing and go tear it up.
Well, when you look at the ads, whether it's on like motorcycle magazine ads, some of them you'll see knobby tires on them.
Is that right?
And like out in Wyoming, Colorado, they go on roads that you wouldn't typically go on. And across the desert, you know. So it gives you like construction zones and stuff like that. No big deal. Let's go for it. You know.
Yeah.
You're looking for roads that's a little challenging. You know, when you ride one. So.
Well, you know, my bucket list is I want to ride to Alaska.
Yeah. This would be a perfect bike to do that.
This is the type of bike you do that on. This is exactly what you would want.
Going across one of the passes, there's snow on it. I'm in June, but there's snow. Hey, go for it. You know, it's like.
Yeah, this was really nice. Now, you know, you're a tall guy. I'm a tall guy. We're both over 6 foot tall. Now, I fit really good on this. Yeah. But I know now Cindy tried to get on here. Right. She couldn't. Her feet couldn't even touch one side. That's the negative. Do they make smaller ones though? Well, not. I mean, they're sort of. KTM for 2018 is going to have a 1090. A little less size. Should be a little lower in seat height. BMW has some. Honda's got the Africa Twin. They're all, the downside to those kinds of bikes are they're tall. And they need to work on that. That's the challenge. Get them down where you got a seat height that people can, the average person can ride. There are some kits available. You can change the internals of the shocks and drop it an inch and a half. It doesn't sound like much, but that's a fair amount. It makes a big difference. Yeah. And obviously you don't want to drop it all the way down because then you lose the whole purpose of the fact that it's an adventure bike. You lose your ground clearance, yeah. So, but it's
It's got features like ABS, you know, for people that are experienced, it enhances their ride. For people that aren't experienced, it helps them. ABS brakes, traction control.
The braking was fantastic.
Yeah,
That
they have state-of-the-art brakes.
Yes, yeah, the braking was fantastic. Acceleration was great. What is the price range for a motorcycle like this?
You're going to be looking at between $13,900 to about $20,000, depending on which model. This one here is $16,999. Of course, there's some incentives always on stuff, but they have the Super Adventure that's got a little more than this. It comes with the bags. It's about $20,000.
Okay.
The BMWs are a little bit over that. Triumph Tigers are 18 to 21. So they're not inexpensive motorcycles, but
but they're not.
The versatility of them gives you.
Yes.
You don't have to have a cruiser and a sport bike and a regular motorcycle. It does it all in one. So.
Right. And it's not astronomical either.
No.
It was actually a little cheaper than what I thought it would be.
Okay.
So no, that actually I thought that was actually a pretty good price.